This is a demonstration of problem 18.9b, recognition of profit on long-term contract. The problem states that Dancer Construction Company has entered into a contract beginning January 1st, 2020 to build an amphitheater. It has been estimated that the amphitheater will cost $2,500,000 and will take 3 years to construct. The amphitheater will be billed to the purchasing company at $3 million. The following data pertain to the construction period, and the problem gives us for the 3 years of the construction 2020, 2021, and 2022, the cost to date at the end of each of the years, and the estimated cost to complete at the end of 2020 and 21. It also provides us with additional information on progress, billings to date, and cash collected to date, but we will not need those because we're not going to be recording all of the entries for the construction contract. We're just going to be computing the amount of revenue and gross profit. So the instructions state in Part A, using the percentage of completion method, compute the estimated gross profit that would be recognized during each of the construction periods. So we're going to use the information in the problem to determine the amount of gross profit. So I have a spreadsheet set up to help us to calculate those amounts, and I'm going to be completing that and explaining how the formulas work and how we derive the amounts for each of the years. So we're going to start out in 2020. At the end of the year, the problem states that we incurred or had costs to date of $800,000. We estimate that we will have a remaining $1,700,000 of cost to complete the contract. So we're still on target to complete the contract at the cost of $2,500,000. We are now the 32% complete on the contract. We determine that by taking cost to date and dividing it by the total estimated cost, and that gives us 32%. The spreadsheet has calculated the amount of revenue by taking the total contract price of $3 million and multiplying it by the 32%. So we would recognize in 2020 $960,000 of revenue. We would record expenses for $800,000 of the cost, and we would recognize gross profit on the contract of $160,000. At the end of 2021, we have costs to date of $2 million, and that includes the cost for 2020, the $800,000, as well as the additional $1,200,000 we incurred this year. We estimate that it will cost $500,000 to complete the contract. So at this point, we are still on track to complete it at the original cost. We are now 80% complete, determined by dividing the $2 million by $2,500,000. To determine the amount of revenue to be recognized on the contract, we take the $3 million and multiply it by the percentage complete, at this point 80%, and then we subtract the amount of revenue that we recognized in 2020. So this is the net amount that we would recognize in 2021. We would also recognize expenses for the cost incurred in 2021, which is $1,200,000, and we would recognize $240,000 of gross profit. In 2022, the contract would be completed, and it costs $2,580,000 to complete the amphitheater. So we have no more cost to complete it. We did run over by $80,000. We are now complete, so we can determine the revenue to be recognized by taking the original $3 million and subtracting the amounts that we recognized in 2020 and 2021. We would also recognize the remaining costs that we incurred in 2022 as an expense, $580,000, and we would recognize the $20,000 gross profit. It's less because we did run over in the total contract price. So we recognized over the 3 years the all of the revenue of $3 million. The total costs that we incurred were the $2,580,000. So the total profit on the contract was $420,000. We had already recognized $400,000 of gross profit in the 2 previous years. So the gross profit recognized again would be $20,000 in 2022. The B portion of the problem states to use the completed contract method and compute the estimated gross profit that would be recognized during each of the construction periods. Well, we know that under the completed contract method, we don't recognize any gross profit, revenue, or expenses until the contract is complete. So during 2020, we would have incurred the $800,000 of cost, but we wouldn't recognize any revenue, any expenses, or any gross profit. In 2021, we incurred $1,200,000 of cost, but we wouldn't recognize any revenue, expenses, or gross profit that year. In the last year, in 2022, we would recognize all of the revenue, all $3 million. We would have only incurred that year the $580,000 in cost, but we would recognize all of our costs, all $2,580,000 in 2022, and we would recognize all of the gross profit of $420,000 also in 2022. And that is the conclusion of the demonstration for problem 18.9b.